to play?
I do believe that my passion for life definitely have been impacted by my relationship with death.
Yes, I mean, I did contemplate death.
We always talk about life and death, and actually death, like something that is not close to us.
Dying is easy, it's living that scares me to death.
As children, we grow up thinking that death is a bad thing. I think the way we embrace death should change.
The reason why I decided to specialize in oncology, I was exposed to cancer before getting exposed to medicine. My father was diagnosed with cancer. When I understood that healing is more than treating a disease, that includes the mind and the soul, that's when I realized that I want to do more for my patients.
In the case of Dr. Story, he's got a great bedside manner and great humanity to add to his skill set, and that is so powerful.
He's great. He's always been great. He comes into the chemotherapy room, says hello, sits with me. He makes you feel very comfortable.
He just made you realize, like, life is beautiful.
The most difficult part of my profession is to communicate my message effectively and in a compassionate way and supportive way to every individual that is completely different.
My first reaction that I had when I found out I had cancer was, okay, I have to live for my kids, so I have to try to push really hard and do what I have to do to get through this. When you get a cancer diagnosis, you can't, like, you try really hard. Some days are really hard to not be upset and worried.
I think when you get a stage 4 metastatic cancer diagnosis, you immediately think you're going to die, or that your days are numbered.
I was prepared for that. In fact, I remember lying in bed the night before they were doing the biopsy, and I said to myself, it's 50-50, Greg. It's either yes or no. And I was able to sleep that night because I had been contemplating my mortality.
One of the most impactful things about oncology is that allow me to share a space with humans that are going through life and death experiences. And it's there, being part of that journey, that makes me realize how close death is and how much I need to live in the present.
You need to stay in the moment and recognize all the gifts that are in my life as opposed to dwelling on the negative.
I don't think people, whether you have a cancer diagnosis or not, I don't think people see the beauty around them every day.
Just live your life as if you don't have tomorrow. You don't know. We'll walk out of here and get hit by a truck and poof.
The 5 ways to live before you die came from hours and hours of conversations with people understanding that the end, it's a possibility. Stop waiting. We always said, one day I will do that. One day I'll go there. Only to realize that you're sitting in front of a doctor that might tell you that you don't have much time.
I'll try, and if I fail, but it's not a big deal. Like, I don't stress over it as much as I used to.
And sometimes we overlook seeing and doing the things with people that we love because life gets so busy. And I think it's really important to take the time to be with the people that really mean a lot to you now, not just when you get a cancer diagnosis.
Every moment is precious, whether it's taking out the garbage or having coffee with my dearest friend, or being with my family or my wife. Those moments that we want to have are equal to those moments we don't want to have. My father passed away from prostate cancer last year, and in the last 6 months of his life, we spent a lot of time together, and I was able to be very, very present with him. If you can be fully present in your life, whether it's something that is painful and heartbreaking to watch my father die, to be in pain, but to be fully present with him. So he knew I was there with him. That was incredible.
We find joy in every little thing in life. We just need to look for it.
I do think happiness is completely attainable, and it should be something that you can find very easily in your everyday life.
I think if you asked somebody on any given day, do you believe in, being happy and being serene and all the rest? And of course, everybody would check off a box. Then watch them go through their day. Are they actually living that? Are they taking the steps? Are they doing the things that actually, are they walking the walk instead of just talking the talk?
Every little thing about life becomes a big thing.
There is no secret to happiness. Happiness is all around us.
Practicing gratitude is like practicing yoga. The more you do it, the better you become at it.
To focus on gratitude. That was something that Dr. Story had mentioned as a main point in one of the preliminary discussions I had with him. In fact, one of the last times I saw Dr. Story was after a CT scan, and he came in and he was telling me that it was clean, and they use the new term, no evidence of disease. He says, well, how are you, Greg? And I said, my gratitude list is about like this. And I said, but I got this shit list over here that's about like this. And he goes, Greg, that's life. And I said, you got it.
I thought that my life was gonna go great and wonderful and no speed bumps, but I had something come up and I thought something was really wrong, but I didn't know quite for sure. But once I got through everything, having gone through everything, I'm grateful for everything.
And through that process, I not only surrendered and accepted my diagnosis, accepted the treatment, but I welcomed it into my life as a collaborator. I know cancer is going to do its best, and I'm going to do my best.
And it is in those moments of struggles where you can lean into gratitude for strength.
I think it's a choice every day when you wake up, whether you're going to have a good attitude or a bad attitude. And I think attitude is everything. In dealing with life in general, it's how you choose to look at things is how you're going to feel.
Learn how to say no to things that don't serve you. This is one of the things that I work on myself a lot. And I have a struggle with it in the past.
Saying no is something that is almost foreign to me.
But there are times when no is appropriate, and it's a self-care kind of thing, and I think that's extremely important.
The hardest one is probably learning to say no. Just because I want to please everybody, I want to make everybody else happy. But I think I've learned through everything to kind of try to make myself happy first, and then things will follow, and I will feel happier at the end of the day.
Often people feel like they need to explain why they're saying no, and no is a complete sentence.
Saying no to some things help you opens the door for positive things that fills your soul. Be creative. Be creative with life. Be creative with everything you do.
When I was first diagnosed, I had just completed my MFA in photography, and my view of artwork was more in a traditional sense of like things that you put on the wall or music or sculptures or things like that. And going through cancer as an artist and kind of expanding that outward to incorporate how I live my life as a creative act, creativity, courage, commitment.
We have to find our creative outlet because we all have pain in our life. Not necessarily cancer, but it could just be some sort of sadness or some sort of unresolved problem.
Just be creative. We all have creativity in us. We just need to look for it and be intentional about it.
I'm a 2-time cancer survivor and an artist, and I often say that I am a 2-time cancer survivor because I'm an artist. So art for me has been a way of expressing myself, but also a way of being in the world and a way of thriving during challenging times.
That was the final thing that I thought, I'm going to do the rest of my life. I'm going to try to do things using all kinds of art to make people more comfortable, to help give them some hope, help change the experience that they're having. I talked to Dr. Story about, have you ever thought about putting an art in medicine program in your practice? And he said, tell me more.
I have seen how the arts, how it has a healing power over patients.
He's so involved with art and so believes so strongly in how art can change the experience of the illness. It can't cure it, but it can change the experience of the patients.
Allowing patients to enjoy the experience of being on a chemotherapy area where we all know that nobody want to be there.
I work with the chemotherapy patients as they're receiving their drip in one arm of the chemo. With their other arm, I'm teaching them how to paint a flower in watercolor.
It's this idea of engaging their creativity, helping somebody do something that they never even thought was possible. And just, you can see their energy shift into this very empowered aliveness, where before maybe they were sitting in the chair just passively waiting for their chemo to run its course so they could go home.
I finally have identified the piece that is needed to combine with the treatments that we give. But it's only when humans understand that they need to play a primary role in their health, that's when eventually we're gonna achieve the ultimate healing process.
That's a concept right there. Participate in your recovery. Don't expect someone to tap you on the head or hand you the silver bullet. It's a team effort.
I treat many patients with cancer, with different kind of cancers. And I have seen many of them die. I also have seen many of them finally start living before they know they're gonna die. That's the point I wanna focus on. You don't need a doctor like me to tell you that you're gonna die to finally start living.